In this week's Parsha, Parshas Re'eh, it says, Ki tava nafshecha lechol, when your soul desires to eat. So there are many Hasidic stories about the effects that food has on our spirit. And in one, a Jew from Pest who was not observant, did not observe Shabbos, or Yom Tov, or Kashrus, for some reason, he attended a tish of Reb Chaim of Sons when he was traveling. And the Sons or Chassidim have the minhag. The Rebbe eats a little bit of a large plate of food, say a large potato kugel, and then the rest, the shiraim, the leftovers, are distributed among the Chassidim, and each chassid takes a little bit. And the Rebbe sent some shiraim to this particular Jew. And immediately after, when he went home, he just couldn't eat. It was like every time he looked at food, it was disgusting to him. It was something that he wanted to have nothing to do with, and he was losing weight, and starving. And the family didn't know what to do. The doctors didn't know why he wouldn't eat. And at one point, someone told the family, this is the type of thing that this tzaddik who's visiting our city now is famous for dealing with. And so one of the family members goes to the Divrei Chaim, the tzaddik from Sons, and tells him the whole story. And Reb Chaim of Sons says that what you have to do is you have to get rid of all of the dishes in your house. You have to get new dishes. You can only have kosher food from now. Because once he had tasted the kosher food, it had made a change in what he wanted and how he wanted things. And from that point on, he only desired to eat kosher and couldn't eat anything else. There is a very similar story in certain ways, although completely different. Just before the First World War, Rav Kook in Eretz Yisrael was organized what was called the Masa Tshuva, the journey to inspire Tshuva. Many of the new settlements, they were called colonies at the time, in Eretz Yisrael, at the time called Palestine, were not observant. Many were not. And so Rav Kook arranged many of the great Rabbanim in Eretz Yisrael would travel together, visiting these various colonies to try and inspire them in one way or another to keep some kind of mitzvahs. And as one of the new kibbutzim along the coast between Yaffo and Haifa, I don't know where exactly, he talked to them about how it would be good if any visitor who came would be able to eat, so that they should have a kosher kitchen. And the members of the kibbutz did this, and they took a vote, as they did on everything, and there was a majority for keeping kosher. One woman was very upset, and she said, Od me'at v'arav yivikesh minu lahadlik nerot Shabbat. A little bit more, and the rabbi is going to ask us to light Shabbos candles. And Rav Kook asked for permission to speak again. And he spoke about the spiritual changes that would occur when people started to keep kosher food. And not only from the time they started to eat it, from the time they had made the decision that this was the only food that they were going to eat. And Rav Kook made this impassioned speech. And at the end, the same woman stood up and she said, Mikan, ani madlika nerot Shabbat. From now on, I will always light Shabbos candles. There is a friend of mine that I knew in Tel Aviv when I lived there many years ago, who visited one of the very old kibbutzim in the north, and they brought him a meal, cooked meal. And he said, I can't eat this. You don't keep kosher here, and as you know, I do keep kosher. And they said, no, we have a kosher kitchen. I said, what are you talking about? You don't have a kosher kitchen. And they said, no. At that time, it was 70 years ago. Rav Kook visited us, and he convinced us that we should at least have a kosher kitchen for our guests. And so we set aside a small room, and we built a small kitchen in there, and we locked it up until someone that kept kosher would come along and we could prepare them a meal there. And that kitchen has stayed locked up for the last 70 years until you arrived. And now we opened it for the first time to prepare for you a kosher meal. Of course, he ate the meal and so on. But what we desire to do can have a great effect on who we are. Sometimes we're drawn to do things that are not on the greatest moral plane. Sometimes we're drawn to do things that are on a greater moral plane. But we make a decision in what way we want to go. So on this Shabbos, where we have this pasuk, we should all be thinking, what do we desire to do? In what way do we desire to improve ourselves spiritually and morally, bein adam lechavero, between one man and another man, bein adam lemakom? And if we work so that we would desire to do these things more, then of course we will be able to grow and develop between now and the upcoming high holidays in only a little bit of time. Everyone should be starting to be thinking about how we are going to prepare for that. Everyone should have a wonderful, inspirational Shabbos where they can dedicate themselves to more and more growth.